Should you be playing World of Warcraft in the current year? Let's find out.
Should you try WoW in 2023? As someone who started playing for the first time earlier this year, I felt what it is like to be a new player and work my way through the learning curve, leveling my way through this expansive world and eventually reaching the end game. I've made friends, I've made enemies,
time is money,
and I've immersed myself in a world which I'm almost 20 years late for. But was it worth it? Fuck no. Yes. Let me tell you why. First things first, what can you expect? Right out of the gate, you're at a crossroad. The great divide. The choice.
You obviously go Horde. This is not a divide. Look at Mommy Sylvanas. She will be back, and she will have less armor. I promise you, she will have less armor. More skimpy outfits. It's gonna be great.
Horde or Alliance? Do you want to be a Mud Hut Moo Man or a Night Owl for some fat tits?
No, do you want to be do you want to be Horde, or do you want to be under the guy who cries a lot? The Alliance, I mean.
You might choose, congratulations. You now belong to a community. Sometimes these communities get along, most of the time they don't. But this isn't necessarily a bad thing. It seems like more of a friendly rivalry rather than a genuine hatred for the opposition.
No, it's actually more like a genuine hatred that spills over in real life because, well, gaming is more important than real life most of the time.
I think. But anyway, after your choice, you'll enter the worlds of Warcraft. As a warrior, mage, or maybe a hunter, there is a huge selection of characters to choose from and a skill tree so you can mold into your desired playstyle.
So, the huge amount of characters to choose from is not a good thing, because now you can be anything with anything. So, that's kind of stupid because now you don't feel special, because that Goblin Paladin is as special as your Panda Paladin for some stupid reason. Choosing a race and a class now does nothing, because you are as generic as the next 300 people right next to you. There's no difference between you and them, because, you know, none of you can be even remotely special.
Of characters to choose from and a skill tree so you can mold into your design.
And the skill tree is too complicated for most people, even though this is great in my opinion. 80% of people can't read this much. They cannot be asked to read this much, so they won't read this much, so they quit the game because this is too complicated.
Desired playstyle. You can be a threat from a distance or button mash your way through any foe. There is something for everyone. I would recommend that you start your journey alongside some friends with whom you can level, but if not, don't worry, you'll meet people eventually, whether you want to or not. Now you're ready to start leveling through the game. When I was living through the game, sometimes it felt a little pointless because besides the story, you don't really know what you're working.
When I leveled through the game, I paid no attention to the story. When I returned in the great coming of the Shadowlands, I was playing an undead rogue, obviously, because of Giga Chad. And I only got past the white dagger when I hit level 60. And I'm not kidding. I am not kidding you, boys. I actually played the whole game from level 1 to 60 without finding an upgrade to my white dagger. There was one quest I found that rewarded the dagger. And guess what? It was at the starting zone, and at the time it's like, okay, this other white dagger has like 1 damage more than my current white starting dagger, so I'm not gonna choose that. I'm gonna choose the thing that actually is a bigger upgrade, because that's smart, right? Little did I know I'm not gonna see another dagger until I was max level. And I'm not kidding. Again, I'm not kidding. I wish I was kidding. But at no point did I find a quest or a mob that dropped the dagger. I should have bought one from the vendors. But this is not where the story ends. You know what happened when I finally got my dagger upgrade? Nothing. Nothing. I got a dagger that was literally like 5 times more damage than my white dagger at level 60 finally at some point. And my damage, did it go up 5 times? No. No. My damage barely moved up. I don't know how that's even possible. My dagger's damage was like 1 to 3 damage or some bullshit like that. And then I find a dagger that literally has 100 DPS. And my damage doesn't go up. Because guess what? Gear doesn't actually matter. It was a worse feeling getting that dagger upgrade than leveling from 1 to 60 without with a white dagger. It's stupid.
Towards. I mean, it's hard to set goals in the game when you don't know what the end game is, but if you know what awaits the end game, it all makes sense. Personally, some of the best experience I've had are found in the end game, when you're forced to rely on other people to overcome challenges, PvP, and progress through more difficult content. More on that later. Back to where you will begin. You progress through a story, but don't worry if it doesn't make sense at first, because remember, there's almost 20 years of backstory that goes into it. Explore the land, do quests, upgrade weapons and armor, try to play the game in a way that captures your curiosity. Find out what happens if you hit the monster with the skull icon. Join the dungeon finder even though you don't know what to expect. Walk into the suspicious smelling inn. There's so much to do in this game, and there's no right or wrong way to play it. I think min-maxing and trying to do everything at maximum efficiency is so common in our era of gaming, and it's
dungeons are just feel bad territories, honestly, in my opinion, current WoW, because they're all so fancy. Like the World of Warcraft currently is so absolutely overblown. It's like any zone you go in World of Warcraft, you feel like you're sitting in a 14-year-old girl's room. Well, you are also 14-year-old. Just not make it awkward. It's just overblown. Everything. There's like, you're in the desert. You guess what's in the desert? Sand. Do you see sand in World of Warcraft's desert? Fuck no. There's sand here, and after 5 steps later, there's some kind of decoration. Everything is just so oversaturated in this game, it makes you nauseous.
Actually a really fast way to burn out. You will only play this game for the first time once, and so many people wish they could do the same. It's your own journey, so do whatever the hell you want, and I promise that you enjoy it much more and it'll start to grow on you. Even though WoW was released all the way back in 2004, the game has constantly been updated, so it still holds up really well. The major updates are usually done in the form of new expansions, basically expanding on existing stories or creating new ones. Even if you're not particularly interested in the story of the game, these expansions will still introduce you to a variety of new content, like new dungeons, diverse landscapes, and so much to do you won't know where to start. You'll find yourself banding together with 30 strangers in a raid.
Well, of course you won't know where to start, because to go into raids you need to download at least 15 add-ons, because without add-ons it's impossible to play the game.
To defeat a dragon, exploring new and detailed lands, finding new and cooler looking armor, or simply showing off your new mount to your friends.
What? Hold up. Hold up. My brother in Christ, what is that?
It's just a dog.
Oh, yeah, what breed is that?
Papa. Oh, man. There's always a steady flow of new content being released to the game, a new boss to learn with new mechanics, or a new place to explore. I mean, there is a reason why people have been playing for almost 20 years and are still playing. You will hear from some players how some expansions are incredible, and how some are not. But just because there is a more recent expansion doesn't mean the old ones are made completely redundant. There's so much
I mean, they actually are made completely redundant. Anyone who tells you no is coping.
Content in the other expansions in the form of mounts, transmogs, basically.
Well, okay, yeah, that's true, but other than that, there is nothing. You know, the thing about World of Warcraft is, you don't even need a new expansion to make all your effort completely for nothing. You just need to get to the midway point in the expansion when the catch-up gear is introduced, and congratulations! All of your efforts are now worthless. Yeah, makes you feel good about yourself.
And achievements. Sometimes when I want to break from doing in-game content, I find it fun to just look through the collections of old raids until I see a cool sword or armor I like, and then call upon my band of guildmates to help me through the respective dungeon or raid. One of the more interesting aspects of the game is that you can customize your character to look however you want, no matter what kind of armor or weapons you use. And some of the coolest looking transmogs are actually found in the older content. And sometimes it's really cool exploring the older content because it's like traveling back in time, and you yourself can experience something that hasn't changed for years. It's important to remember that this is a multiplayer game. If you're going to dedicate your time here, it is important that you find people that you can progress with. Earlier in the game, everything might be a breeze and you can progress through content without much difficulty, but once you hit the
I leveled there.
difficulty scaling dungeons or raids, you're gonna want people who can help you and teach you. This is usually
I
done by
leveled also there.
meeting people in the world, finding other new players, or maybe even older players that are happy to share their knowledge with you. I've heard from some players that they don't like doing dungeons or raids because it's too stressful, from people flaming when they die, but dying is part of the game, and you have to
I mean, just ignore the losers.
learn somehow. You can always look up a guide if you're worried. There are people willing to help new players, and actually I've made a
I love the idea that you need to look up guides when the game actually tells you every boss mechanic.
Discord and WoW Guild for people who want to start WoW, need help with dungeons or raids, or simply want to level and progress with other people. The link will be in the description. It's hard to deny that some players have become very cold over their time playing. In my experience, there seems to be a proportion of veteran players who don't like how the game has changed. This might be in the form of new combat mechanics or changes to
Someone said that the retail WoW PvP is a joke. I absolutely agree with that. Blizzard has not balanced the single game properly in 20 years, so obviously PvP is a joke.
older content, maybe even changes of opinion of Blizzard itself, but we as new players have the rare opportunity to look at the game with a fresh set of eyes and see it for how it is and not how it was. I personally have no problem with the game because I wasn't around when the changes that people don't like happened. I can take people's word for it that the older game was better, but to me, it's how the game has always been. And maybe
it is, because it's easier, it's straightforward, no bullshit. Yeah. People like classic because it's easier. No one wants to play this slugfest of download 15 add-ons so you can maybe learn a boss, watch a guide, still reread the mechanics, and then get yelled at for someone because you didn't know a mechanic. This is tedious. This is like a job. If I wanted the good job, I would not be playing World of Warcraft. I would be playing Lost Ark.
maybe I'm a delusional optimist, but I think going to the game with the mindset of people are saying the game isn't good, so it mustn't be good, is a one-way ticket to I'm not having fun because people have already told me the game isn't good anymore. Town. I'm gonna be honest, I never saw myself becoming a WoW player. Even though I now suffer from vitamin D deficiency, I literally went into the game knowing absolutely nothing. But even
D as in dick, because he doesn't get any now because he's a WoW player.
so, in my small amount of time in WoW, although I've barely scratched the surface of understanding or things to do, I finally understand the appeal of the game. There is so much history that lies behind these pixels, and it is awesome that even though we might be almost 20 years late to the party, we can still join in and experience World of Warcraft. I've enjoyed my journey so far, and every day I learn more and more things about the game, which makes me enjoy it even more. My experience for sure has been shaped by the community I experienced it with. I had made friends that have shared my journey, and we have known—
Wait, what is his clan name? Gazagoons. Okay, well, at least they're making pretty clear, are they on the side of Palestine or not?
I had made friends that have shared my journey, and we have no intentions of stopping anytime soon, even when we are getting old and starting to bald. So to conclude, I'll say give World of Warcraft a shot. Take your time, enjoy it the way you want to, and not how others expect you. It's a game tailored to the individual, and it's a journey that you won't regret. Probably.
I don't know.
Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed the video.
I mean, I didn't regret my journey, but at the same time, at one point I just didn't log in. And that's it. Strange how that happens.
I've been streaming my—
Anyway, that was bad music. He's British. Ugh, you're British. I hate you. Well, anyway, he's British. Yeah, that's kind of the takeaway here. Anyway, this was Quizzer said, thanks for watching. Subscribe if you haven't already, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.